How's it going, guys? Today I present you a 2024 Hyundai Sonata. I'd like to go over the exterior features as well as like interior, cargo and stuff like that. And then my final thoughts and would I buy this car? So let's begin. So first we're going to start off with the exterior. It's black. I'm not sure. There's really nothing great about this paint. Let me mind you, this is an enterprise car. So I ended up getting rear-ended a couple weeks back and they lended me a rental car. But yeah, I mean, you can see all the micro scratches. So I can't really show off the paint real well, but it's a black exterior. This is the SE model, so it's pretty simple. It's their base model. As we make our way to the front, this is strictly my opinion. Anybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I don't know what they were thinking here. My favorite part is probably this, like these chrome accents, and I absolutely love this light bar that's across the way. But the thing that drives me crazy is they got rid of these. The previous model had their headlights like right here, and they had these like chrome strips, these LED lights that would fade into the chrome and then it would fade into the body lines, and it was just so elegant. But I don't know what they were thinking. Again, it's just my opinion, but let me know down in the comments what you think. If you really dig the front, or if you just don't like it. I mean, it's kind of aggressive looking. It makes it look like there's no headlights on the car. It's kind of strange, unless they're on. I mean, obviously they're right there, but you know, I don't see any fog lights. I think this lower portion is, I think that's part of the blinker assembly. I'm not sure, that or it's just a fake lens with nothing in it. But yeah, so then we make our way to the side. I really like these rims. I'm not sure what size they are, but I actually really like them. Yeah, it's a rental, so they're trashed. I don't know what people do with cars, man, but no, we have these beautiful lines on the side. I actually really like that. I like a little bit of chrome around my windows and stuff. Yeah, and then we make our way to the back. I actually really like the back end design because it kind of looks like a sport back idea, like just it looks a little sporty. So it looks less of just some bland car. Honestly, I really love the back. The back is, I really like it. They have these squares. So Hyundai's been doing like this interesting square pattern. I think they started it on the Ioniq 5. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's kind of like a theme that they're doing now. It's kind of odd, but I actually really like it. And then we have this. It kind of looks like a little bit of a spoiler. This, I believe, is supposed to help with stability, I think, with like aerodynamics and stuff, gas mileage. I don't really know the science behind it, but it adds a really unique look to it too. So let's check out the trunk, if I can figure out how. Okay, apparently that does not work. Oh, I guess you have to hold it like for a million hours. So here's the trunk. It's actually pretty good size. And oh wow, this is a feature now that I've just discovered. You could pull these down and it flips the seats down. Well, I mean, it would, obviously. That's really cool. And the best part here is they give you well, it's a temporary spare, but they still give you a spare. Unlike that Fix-A-Flat kit. Trust me, I used to work at Les Schwab, and it was a nightmare when tires would come in with all that stuff in them. It's just a mess. But yeah, it's got a pretty good sized trunk. I really like the size of this trunk. A lot of trunks on cars nowadays just seem to be getting smaller for some reason. So it's a really good sized trunk. Then we will work our way to under the hood. I just gotta pop it. Where is it? Here we are. So under the hood, we have a, let's see, where's the latch? I'm trying to do this one-handed. Hold on. Somehow. Oh, yeah, don't mind my crooked video. It's definitely not user-friendly. Under the hood, we have a 2.5 liter inline four. It produces 191 horsepower, 181 pound-feet of torque, and it is mated to an 8-speed automatic. I think it's a dual clutch, but I'm not entirely sure. I just know it's an 8-speed automatic. And this one is front-wheel drive. I guess they are finally offering all-wheel drive models in these, which is really cool. There's two other engine options. There's a 2-liter 4-cylinder, which is a hybrid, and that is paired with a 6-speed automatic. And then there's the N-Line, which has a turbo 2.5-liter 4-cylinder, and that produces, I think it was like around 290 or 291 or something like that, which that's a good healthy number. That's a lot of power for this little car. So yeah, but I mean, everything's, you know, right here, and thankfully the battery's right here and not put in the fender. Chrysler, sorry. Had something in my throat. So at least it's easily accessible, so anybody could just, you know, change it out. But yeah, I mean, it's nothing really to shout about. It's just it's an engine. It'll get you from point A to point B. It is direct injected, by the way, so yeah, it's pretty fuel efficient. I was actually averaging, like, I don't know, I think it was like 25 miles to the gallon, which is really, really good. So now, oh man, that scares me every time I close that. Now we make our way to the interior. Now, this is where all the magic happens, I guess, is what everybody says, right? No. First, well, here's a look at the cabin. I'm gonna do a look around here. It's got this nice textured pattern on the dashboard. Here's your screen layout, which I haven't started the car yet. Here's this dot trend that they're doing. They do the squares and then they do these little dots too, but I don't see any more dots in the interior, like anywhere in here, which is kind of strange. The seats, I absolutely love the seats. Now, I prefer leather. I'm just that way, but I'll still take cloth. But these, I really like how like tightly woven it is. So it's like still kind of slippery. So you could still, you don't feel like you're Velcroed to the seat. They've got these bolsters here, which help when you're carving corners in your Sonata, I guess. And then they have this really cool line here, which I just really like I really like the design here. As we make our way to the door cards, it's got this nice like chrome accent right here. This is soft touch here. This right here is kind of soft touch. I mean, this is kind of the grab handle, which I don't know. I feel like they should have had like maybe another handle, because this, well, luckily that it's black, it won't show too much dirt. But if they had a tan interior, that would be pretty gross probably over time. Then you have your speaker right here. And you have a tweeter right here. I believe this is, let's see, how many speakers is this? I don't even know, because this is the SE model. So this might have less speakers than like the SEL or the N-Line. I'm sure the N-Line probably has some really nice sound system. But yeah, I really dig this. This is probably one of my favorite parts of like just the texture. I mean, you could see it's textured, and I love the vent design. It just kind of flows into the other. And we make our way down here. We have our climate control and everything. Actually, let me just put it in accessory mode. Okay. Well, I did have the AC on because I am in Utah, so the weather is very bipolar over here. I mean, it is literally February, and well, now it says 57, but it literally was, I'm not kidding, it was like 70 when I left. So here we have a really nice gauge cluster and everything, and this lights up. These are all touch sensitive buttons down here, but thankfully they still give you knobs, and it's dual zone. Right down here you have your charge ports. It's USB-C. Of course, I was like, I need to charge my iPhone SE. Well, I can't, because I have a very dated phone, and yeah, I don't have USB-C. I thought there was a USB, you know, I thought there was a USB plug in here, but nope. So yeah, there's no CD player. I mean, it is 2024. I mean, that's not really a standard feature anymore. Now, in this infotainment system, we do have, I don't have my phone paired because this is a rental car. I just didn't want my phone connected to it. There was just no reason. So it does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Where on earth do I... So this is very confusing. When the radio came on, I couldn't figure out how to turn it off. Because if you click this, it turns it on automatically. And, well, I was like, where do you turn it off? What in the world? Well, the knob is right here. They still give you a volume knob, which is awesome. And there's actually a rolling wheel here on the steering wheel too. But yeah, I mean, it's a really decent infotainment system. I mean, there's really not a lot to it. There's no navigation or anything, probably because this is the base model. But yeah, I mean, if you move your way over here, you can like here, you can customize your stuff, which is pretty nice. You do have these nice paddle shifters on the back for this 8-speed auto, which I don't mind. It's got voice commands, you know, start your phone call and everything like that, and all this lane departure warning, lane keep assist, blind spot, all that stuff. All that stuff. And then down here we have the electronic parking brake, which took me some time getting used to because I'm used to the foot brake, or, you know, your typical hand brake, but that's kind of not around anymore. So it just kind of makes a noise, and then once it says park, like you pull it. Yep, there's the brake, and then you push it to release. Really? Apparently it wants me to press the brake pedal to release, but whatever. And then you have another vent over here. Now, going back to this screen, I don't understand this. This is what I can't figure out. Why? The question is, why is this here? I thought it was maybe a speaker because it's got kind of this weird, like, speaker-like material on the front, but it's not. I don't know if maybe the higher trim levels have a bigger screen, or if this is just what they're doing now. If the higher trim levels do have a bigger screen, it's pretty clear that they rubbed in your face, hey, you could have gotten the higher model, but we're just going to put this blank square right here, so to remind you that you didn't have enough money to get the higher end model. Regardless, it's there. I mean, car companies aren't going to engineer a whole new assembly just for the base model. That's a little silly. So yeah, it's just going to be there. Make our way to the dash. There's some stitching. This is kind of squishy, which I like. I mean, it's not that cheap hard plastic. That is, oh, actually that is kind of squishy. Interesting. I don't know if this is fake stitch. Well, actually over here, I don't know if this is fake stitching. I'm not entirely sure, but it might be fake. I'm not entirely sure if that's fake or not. However, this stitching is real, but we'll get to that in a second. Yeah, you have kind of this, oh, that's for the defrost, possible center speaker. But yeah, but my favorite part of the interior of this car really has to be the column shifter. They have a column shifter in here. Now, car companies are doing a lot of electronic things anymore. I'm used to the old, you know, mechanical column shifter. Both my cars do, so I'm constantly reaching and I'm like, oh, right. So with Hyundai's new column shifter, it's a little strange, but I absolutely love it. Forward is drive, backwards is reverse, and push to park, as you can see right there. Now, neutral, it took me a minute to try to figure out how on earth do you get it in neutral. You just barely turn it, like just barely. And then it'll get in neutral. Now, if you're wondering how to manually shift this car, you have to leave it in drive, and then you just use the paddles. Now, there is kind of a little knock here with that. When I tried doing that, I couldn't get it back into just drive. I couldn't figure out, I've driven another car where you can like downshift, and then once you upshift enough, it'll just go back into drive. But this one, no. I had to push it back into drive, and then it said gear already selected. I'm like, yeah, obviously, but so yeah, it's kind of odd, but they're there for the 8-speed auto, which is really great. I really like that. It kind of adds this sporty feel. Now, the steering wheel is kind of an interesting texture. It's squishy, but it's kind of cheap. I do like these 9 and 3 notches right here, and then it's got these 10 and 2. This is what's really strange to me. It kind of like, I don't know, it's just shaped different. I'm not sure what the reason behind this is. Maybe for ergonomics and for your legs and stuff. It's probably just for comfort. Maybe they don't want people driving with their knee anymore. Dad. My dad used to always do that all the time, and it just scare the crap out of me as a kid. Anyway, yeah, so it's got kind of this oddly shaped steering wheel, but it just kind of adds to, you know, the sporty look. Now, when I start the engine, put your foot on the brake, you know, push to start. Now it's running. You literally, yeah, here we go. I have to turn this on because, man, is it hot today in February. There. Now I've got a little bit of AC blowing. Sorry if there's a little bit of noise. You can't even hear the engine hardly at all. It's very, very quiet. Absolutely smooth, and that's actually kind of surprising to me for a 4-cylinder. I was really blown away with how smooth it was, because I've been in a lot of 4-cylinders that they just kind of shake a lot. I feel like maybe V8s are a little bit better balanced. So like 4-cylinders, when you get that low, it's just going to be, you know, more imbalanced. But yeah, it's very smooth. And one of my favorite features of this car, which I'll get to, the driving portion, is it is so quiet on the road. Like, there's very little road noise. You could actually whisper in here going 55. Not only that, but the ride quality is very smooth. I am actually blown away by the ride quality of this car. Anyway, I forgot to mention there's the little stocks behind here, you know, off, auto, all that stuff. Now, this is kind of interesting because you could manually turn on the lights, but I've had this habit where I exit the car without realizing that I turned them off. I've got 2 older cars that will go ding, 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 ding. It's like, oh, okay, I need to turn the lights off. This one, they just turn off automatically, which is really nice. But yeah, so you could actually just practically leave it on, so every time you get in the car and drive, your headlights are always on. So that's a nice feature, but I'll just leave it in auto. Here you have your wiper control, which I haven't used yet because it hasn't rained or anything. How do you... yeah, there we go. There's a lot of pollen and stuff too. But yeah, you can, you know, do high, low, intermittent, stuff like that. Now, it is kind of weird because one of my pet peeves is whenever there's a column shifter, like, I think the only other car that I could think of is Honda. Like, their older Pilots had this column shifter back here, but then they still had the stock here. So like a couple times I was reaching, because I'm also used to the shifter being up here. I'd reach, I'm like, no, that's not drive. It's down here. So that might be kind of one of those things you might have to look. But then once you get the hang of it within a week or maybe 2 days, it's not a problem. So yeah, I mean, this engine is very smooth. I really like it. But let's hop in the back seat here in just a moment. We'll look down here. This is the center console area. You've got this auto hold, which is for park and stuff. This is your reverse if you just want to check your rear view camera, which is really cool. I think it probably turns off at a certain speed. This changes your drive mode. This is a blank switch, but this changes your drive mode between sport. Okay, I guess that's custom, normal. Right. I'm surprised there's no eco mode, but anyway, so there's that. This is kind of a phone holder. I typically use it for the key fobs, which they're kind of egg shaped, which I also, when I looked at this, I couldn't find the Hyundai logo, which is really interesting. But then I looked at it, I was like, oh my word. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, I typically leave the keys right here because it's just a spot. But yeah, it's got a very, very deep center console. This is sort of padded. This, I believe, is where the previous Sonata, they had a push button shifter, which I just, You know, that's the thing is, if you're going to do a shifter, I really like this. Don't give me the hockey puck or buttons. You know, yes, I mean, park is a button, but push to drive. And I did get in a car one time that was that, and it was an electric car. And oh my word, I almost hit a wall because I thought I was in gear and it wasn't. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, let's make our way to the back seat. Make sure all the doors are unlocked. Oh yeah, it's also got power mirrors as well too, which is a really nice feature. Make our way to the back. Same design pattern back here. Now it's only got one map pocket, which is kind of weird, and no vents back here. Maybe the higher end model has them. I don't know, but that's kind of, it's probably a price cut. Now this doesn't have any map pocket. Now if you were a large driver, I mean, look at this. I'm 5'11", and that's my seating position, and I have tons of knee room, literally. I've also got tons of headroom. I can't really show that because, well, I can't flip the camera. But it's got tons of room. Now, it does kind of indent a little bit, so like if somebody was like 10 feet tall, I'm just kidding, that's an over exaggeration, but if somebody was like 6'2" or something, had to have the seat back, I mean, worst case scenario, if your knees were against it, you have like a little bit of an indentation. Now, as we move down to the door cards, same idea as the front. Somehow this feels a little squishier than the front. I don't understand that. But yeah, you have kind of a storage pocket down here, kind of the same idea, chrome strip, same material, soft touch. It does have side airbags, which is nice. As far as the back goes, I don't know if there's side airbags back here. Typically it says somewhere. Well, it's got to be somewhere. We have down here, even though there's no air vents, we have more USB-C chargers down here, which is really nice for people who need to charge their phone. We've got this right here. This is a flip down. You're probably wondering where the cup holders are. Well, they're right here. There's nothing really special about this. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, I popped the seat earlier. So yeah, the seats do fold down to give you more storage space and everything if you need to haul larger items. But I mean, there's really not much back here. You do have your little light back here, which is great, and then your poop handles, whatever you want to say. And then there's some hooks on there too. And headliner's kind of this weird texture to it as well, which I kind of like. It doesn't look like it would fall down over time. So I mean, that's pretty much, that honestly concludes our interior review. I mean, there's really not a lot to it. One thing I do like about this car too is the fact that it does not have auto start stop. Thank God. That stuff is just really annoying. Like, you'll have to push a button all the time to turn it off. Not to mention, it wears out your starter. I don't care what anybody says, your starter going on and off like that over time, I mean, everything has a number to it, how many times you can use it. So it doesn't have that, thank goodness. So it doesn't really have a lot of technology. It does have, you know, your standard stuff. Yes, it does. Up here, it will actually shut the car off automatically if you're at idle for long enough, which is kind of interesting. It's actually, you know what? That's a nice feature because one of my coworkers one time forgot to shut her car off. She parked it and it was like running for like 3 hours. So I guess in this case, this would be really nice. I will make a mention since I'm viewing this screen again. Yeah, I know my video is all over the place. I'm ADD, so anything stimulates. Hyundai, and actually just Hyundai in general, the tachometer and speedometer, they would use them for like cameras, for like your blind spots and stuff. And I thought that was a really nice feature, but this one doesn't have it. So I'm wondering if maybe they have it in the higher trim levels, but I'd have to look into that. However, this one doesn't have it, but it's still, the sight lines aren't too bad. I mean, you could look over your shoulder and it's really not all that bad at all. So yeah, that would conclude our review here. So let's move on to the driving portion. And this is where the fun begins. kind of have to do this one-handed. I'm kind of on like this back road, so there's not a lot of traffic or anything. So luckily, so I'll just, you know, put my seatbelt on and kind of tootle around. First things first, right here, put your foot on the brake. That's drive. It dings at you to let you know that it's in drive, which is, I don't know why it does, but then again, with it being electronic, I'm glad that it does ding, so I know it actually went into gear. So just driving along. It does auto turn off the parking brake, which is really nice. I really like that. One of my older cars actually does that as well. But I'm gonna turn onto this road here in a moment. And let's see, I just gotta wait for a clearing. Okay, now I can go. Now, one of my favorite things about this car is how smooth and quiet it is. I mean, I am absolutely blown away with how quiet it is in here. Which, I mean, it might show up on camera, I don't know. I don't know if you can hear, that was a pothole that I just ran over, or a drain. And I absolutely love the ride quality of this car. I'm not gonna lie. My daily driver is a Crown Victoria, and it's got a really good ride quality, which they're known for, but I'm really blown away with how smooth this car is. So, yep, there's another one. And that was a pretty big one. Brakes are very sensitive. It took me a minute because I'm used to driving older cars. So when you drive older cars, you really have to kind of step on the brake quite a bit to get it to stop. And this one, you literally barely put your foot on it and you're in the windshield. So, which, that's just kind of the case. So, I'm just gonna get back on this road. We'll floor it here so you can see what it does. It's kind of buzzy. Woo! Ooh, she does get up and go. Okay, so this is the one knock that I really have about this car that I really do not like. This 8-speed automatic is all over the place. Now, I don't know if it's normal. I mean, this car only has 23,000 miles. I haven't driven a lot of cars with like 10 or, 8 speeds or whatever, but it's literally, it really is like all over the place. For example, like say you want to get out of an intersection, and here, I'm just gonna pull back up here where I was when I started. Say you're trying to come out of an intersection, right? It takes you a minute to learn, push to park. Yep, we're in park. It takes you a minute to learn how to feather the gas pedal. And that's kind of one of my complaints. Like if you're driving a typical 4-speed auto, which again, that's very dated by today's standards, but first gear typically gets you out of the intersection and then it starts shifting. Well, this thing shifts like 3 times and you never really know what gear it's in. The only way you'd know what gear it's in is if you start downshifting and using the paddle shifters, which again are really awesome, but it's just, honestly, I love the ride quality of this car. I love how quiet it is, but it's the transmission. The transmission just ruins it for me. The hybrid has a 6-speed auto. Honestly, this car doesn't need 8 gears. 6-speed would be fine, literally. I mean, so really, I guess this really gets down to my final thoughts. Like, what do I think about this 2024 Hyundai Sonata SE? Well, it's not a bad car, but in my opinion, yeah, now you could actually see the headlights. Oh yeah, it's just a marker light. Oh, it's got vents right there too. Cool. Anyway, what kind of concludes this is like, would I buy this car? No. The answer is no. First of all, I don't really like the front, but it's not the reason. Really, the thing that kills it for me is the transmission. It's just all over the place, man. It's just it doesn't really give you that connection, you know. There's a little bit of a level of disconnect with this car. So I wouldn't get it. I don't have the money for it anyway. But the starting price of this car, the base MSRP is is $27,500 for, I believe, honestly, this model, because this is the base model. So, you know, for that price point in this day and age, cars are so expensive nowadays. That's not bad. I mean, that's really good value for the money. I mean, I really can't complain. You know, for $27,500, it's a really nice car. So yeah, this concludes my review of the 2024 Hyundai Sonata SE. Anyway, I appreciate the people who actually clicked on my video to watch it, you know, to give me some views. So yeah, I hope to do some more car reviews in the future, but this is what I'm doing for now. My next car reviews, I'll probably review my 2 personal cars, actually my 3. My girlfriend's car, she's got a Grand Marquis, I've got a Crown Vic and a Caravan, so I'll probably review those next, because they'd be easy for me to get a hold of. Otherwise, I'd have to go rent another car or drive it for a week and then tell you guys my, you know, impressions. But overall, not a bad car. Do I love it? No. Do I hate it? No. I'm kind of indifferent. So, but does Hyundai and Kia deserve the hate they have? No. They did have a lot of class action lawsuits with their 2.4 liter. I'm hoping this engine is a little bit better. It's a 2.5, so hopefully it's a little bit better with reliability. I can't guarantee it, you know. I think the transmission is what really scares me, because like I said, it's all over the place. It's kind of cool though, because you can go to your vehicle diagnostics and you can actually run. It'll actually check to see if there's any problems, but it says the transmission's fine. So I guess it's just how it is. I mean, you could see right here, it says normal. So it's just kind of one of those things where you'll just have to get used to it if you drive this car. But just let me know in the comments if I forgot anything. Like I said, I'm just starting out, so yeah, just let me know. If you want to tell me I'm an idiot, I get it. I've always been told that anyway, so no worries. But yeah, just let me know. Let me know what you think of this car too. If there's anybody that's like, I absolutely love this car, well, tell me your experience, you know. Tell me what you think. If anybody agrees the transmission's weird, or if they like it or whatever, you know, just let me know. Anyway, this concludes my review of the 2024 Hyundai Sonata SE. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.